Oh, from Ann Beauregard when recordings coming on, but for those who have been participating in our DBA meetings, we record them for the people who are unable to attend.
I think it's great. Yeah.
And it helps for those who are unable to attend to kind of play catch up. There's a lot of things going, and the month of July is gone, literally, but there's lots of things happening. So thank you, everybody. This is just a pre-planning. This is actually planning. I meant to do this sometime in February and never got around to it. Well, you really do need to start as soon as something's over and just to kind of
know, I agree.
So I'm going to first do some, have some people do some introductions. We'll start introductions here in this office. So Ann.
Hi, Ann Beauregard, and helped on the parade committee, all in the past, and just we're representing a couple of groups and just hoping that we can contribute as much as we can, help in any way. And what do I want to say? Get more people on board that have never been on board. Right. That's what I want to say. Yeah. Okay, welcome. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nancy Crucius, and I work with Bill Hogan on the downtown Brockton Museum and all our events that we're holding. We have a big one coming up, so I'm just here to help out.
As you did last year.
Yeah. And freeze to death. Yeah.
Yeah. Richard Reed, I'm pastor of North Baptist Church. I host the cultural affairs group of folks from all over the city once a month. That's trying to plan events, and I've been asked to drive my fan to a float. So
perfect. And for those that are on the virtual, I'm going to start with you, Captain Picaro.
Good evening, Mark Picaro, Brockton Police and Brockton Traffic Commission.
Thanks, Mark. Councillor Thompson.
Hey everyone. Good evening, Councillor Jeff Thompson, Ward 5. Just really excited to be. I love talking about Christmas in July in the middle of a heat wave. So, just seeing, like you all said, seeing where I can help out, and so I'm gonna listen to everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate you being on here. We also have, and I want to say, it's hard to see. Oh, we have Amanda and we have Cindy.
Hi there, Cindy Pendergast with
NeighborWorks.
Happy to help.
Thank you both for being on. And then my eyes are bad. And oh, Kate Messier from the Boys and Girls Club.
Oh, hi. Oh, good.
So actually it's Marcus. Yeah, it's Marcus.
It doesn't look
I'm
like
here.
Kate, no.
No, Kate's way prettier. So it's Marcus here, representing the Boys and Girls Club. Derek, he told me about the holiday party, so we're excited to be back involved in it.
Perfect. Thank you, Marcus. And for everybody, I think I have most everybody's email, but do me a favor. If you put in the chat, I'll make sure that we add you to list as we go forward. But then last but not least, Lisa O'Donnell.
Hey, everyone. Just, I value this event, and I just came on board tonight. I've helped in the years past, so looking forward to continue to partner and make this the great event that so many Brocktonians love to see.
Thanks, Lisa. She just is not just a volunteer. She lifted tables and lifted them back, and no, she's underestimating that. But again, this is being recorded. Again, we're going to just be sharing this out. When you share it, let's get some other folks, and ideally, so you'll see under my name, it's my building with snow, like 3.5 feet of snow. So that's to kind of get us into the mood with the hope that we do not have a any kind of weather preventing kind of event. But just to start off, the holiday parade is Saturday, November 26th. The step off of the parade itself is usually right at 1 p.m. Is that correct, Cap Picaro?
Sounds about right, yes. From what I remember.
Like around 11:30, depending upon how close we get. And that's what we have so far, like no preconceived anything at all. For those of you who have participated in the past, we've had, last year was pulled together within 6 weeks, if that. And a couple takeaways. We can't prevent anything with the weather. The weather's going to be the weather, and but what we can do at least is to have a plan A, plan B. I will tell you that my daughter gave me strict instructions that I am not to be taking the lead on this, is to try to find as many people. I made a promise to her that after last year that it literally was driving, it was, as all of you, for those that were pulling this together at the end, it was a lot of hard work, but that's why we're planning this. And let me just let Linda is coming in. She's another volunteer from last year. So, the city, thank you, Councilor Thompson, and thank you to the mayor for putting it in the budget, but and to all the councilors for supporting. The DBA has allocation of $10,000 in the city's budget, in the mayor's budget, to support this event. And we have every plans to continue to use every penny that we can. Ideally, there are things that are unknown, like the cost to bringing bands, even cost for buses and things of that nature. So one of the takeaways I would say is that, the first thing would be is in fact to get as many volunteers. Like there was not, if we had 50 volunteers, it still is not enough, because we need shifts and we need some changes, and, people who start early and people who can end late. But there were some things that I thought that worked really well last year. And it was, I think, the idea of the little food court on the Old Colony Elder Services. What worked really well was when Brockton Beer had their little streamlined kind of beer thing that was in the parking lot. I don't know if anybody is on yet from Brockton Beer, but what for me with the Downtown Brockton Association is in fact getting as many local businesses, downtown businesses, to be engaged and have something, like whether it's the Peruvian to have their doors open and do a little bit of a special Teffies last year. I know with Marcus and the Boys and Girls Club, they have an incredible garden. I'm not even sure what, Marcus, it's a container where they grow kale and lettuce. What is it again?
So it's a freight farm.
That's the word.
Freight farm, yeah. Tons of kale, lettuce. We have some strawberries growing right now, some peppers, cilantro. So yes, a lot of great greens.
We may have to hold our August DBA meeting over there and do a little bit of a tour.
That would be a bad idea, yeah.
But here's, right, so there's Boys and Girls Club, there's lots of new folks, but there's also a lot of existing businesses that have been here through COVID that have continued to maintain their efforts, and we want to make sure that everybody's embraced. But it would be very cool that, the focus is, I have been working with Adelsa and the Brockton Redevelopment Authority about identifying every single Brockton restaurant that has a food truck. So before we bring someone in from outside of the city, we want to be able
There you
to
go.
support Brockton businesses. I know, and we'll get that list for you. But, and maybe what I'd start first with, and just because I know you have a little bit of a time frame as well, maybe if you can just walk through, I know you utilized Old Colony Planning Council's office as sort of the hub for the PD and for BEMA. Walk through with us about if that worked for you. Do you want to continue to do it again? And then maybe just walk through what the PD would be mostly concerned about.
Last year was my first holiday parade, and how you did it last year was fine, Mary. If we do it the same way again this year, that's certainly fine. As far as the police is concerned, I'm going to put out the word a little bit earlier this year so I can get more motorcycles and bike officers and traffic officers involved with it. I didn't have quite as many as I would have liked last year, but we still got the job done. So I want to reach out and get a few more this year. But one thing I'd like to talk to maybe the DPW on is in December, I went down the Cape, and there was a town down there that had their holiday parade. And I noticed that at all of their major points along the parade, they had large DPW trucks staged, blocking the road, along with a police officer. I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah.
to just ensure participant safety and to make sure that nobody who shouldn't be crashing the party crashes the party.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's a great idea. I know that the DPW did a truck at the vacant lot where Prova is right now. But I think that would be a great idea. Maybe we can just do a sidebar about that as well, Mark. And, but so that would be really helpful, you know, and just for everybody's purposes, like, you know, it really, just something happened recently to a friend of mine and, you know, someone plowed into her house, they left the scene. But one of the challenges, she was a little bit upset because no one had responded as immediate, but the police force really is stretched thin. And I think that we, number one, want to recognize and thank the PD for all their work as well as the fire department. But I think that whatever ways that we can be ahead of it and see what we need to
Makes
do.
sense. Yeah.
Again, the last thing that we would want is to have a holiday, a parade, and have it
Oh,
be
geez.
open to potential concerns. So that's out of my realm. That's why you are in the position and working with the other police and fire. But I do think the DPW with either that or even if there's barriers. I will tell you, we're not sure whether we're gonna do the vendor court like we did. That's still to be determined. I thought we had a lot of good feedback and
We
brought
did,
people in.
Yeah.
So, but that takes a lot of time in cultivating. I know that there are some volunteers. I really would be looking to really break this group into committees and let you rip and go and contact and develop that. So last year, Betty Rada was working, I believe, with Lisa and Maureen about contacting the various downtown restaurants and making sure that they know they're open.
Mhm.
You know, the
That's
chamber
good.
recently did like a restaurant week, but perhaps we do something very similar, is to do a restaurant week leading up to the holiday.
That is a great idea. Yeah, yeah.
So what's great about these ideas though is, well, what's not so great about the ideas, they're ideas, but I need to make sure that we
Oh,
assign
no,
someone.
no, yeah.
So
No.
I would say Megan from my office, she's going to be developing that form, a form to have you sign up.
Oh, good.
We'll
Okay,
have a
fine.
drop down of the different
Sure.
committees.
Okay.
So I would think like, you know, I'm going to leave the public safety to Mark and also to BEMA and to the,
That's a good
into the fire department and leave, and the DPW now. But then I do believe that I need a parade committee itself and reaching out to folks to be part and who.
Yeah, well,
and
that's
the
what I
cost.
was prepared to
Are you-
start sending out postcards as fast as possible. And since you had talked about wanting to keep, or sort of wanting to keep the theme of the first apartments to a Santa or whatever, I wasn't sure, you know, what kind of mailing budget, but postcard stamps are way cheaper. And I don't know if you have the indicia to mail out, or if anyone that's affiliated with the parade committee, you
So,
know what I'm talking
I
about?
do,
the
but,
mass mailing.
I do. Before we send something out, I want to make sure that what we are, you know, so
Yeah.
John Marion wasn't able to make it today. He has an interest of, you know, being
Right.
supportive again.
Sure.
Nikki Draves is still not sure whether, you know,
Sure.
she's involved or not, but
Oh, I know.
we're going
Yes,
to
I
be able
wanna
to do
say-
that.
yeah,
But
okay.
one of the things that I think is going to be important is Counselor Thompson, if I could have you get the word out to your counselors. What I found was that it wasn't until like almost late where people were, you know, I was bugging counselors to have it be posted on their social media.
Oh, yeah,
And-
yeah.
But it's
yeah.
really important, and I know many did, but you know, if I could work with you and then Council President Lally to work with the counselors, again, save the
The
date.
date, there you
save-
go.
So
Well, see,
Megan,
yeah.
what I might ask you to do is to create a save the date with the DBA logo, but it's also, this is with funding from the city, so the city's logo needs to be on it as well. And so if we can do the save the date and then start getting that out. So let me stop for a second. How about questions or comments from anybody? So we'll, maybe from those who participated in the past, maybe Lisa, others, like what other kind of subcommittee? So we're gonna do a parade committee. That's to reach out to the different people marching.
Well,
we're
I
gonna-
think
go ahead.
you want to turn around, and that's what I had offered for you, offered you, that I would take the template from what existed before. I'll go through the, what do I want to say, files or whatever, and get that letter out. You are invited to participate.
Okay,
Da,
so,
da, 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 da. And then I turn around and give my phone number and my email so that people could contact me, so that other people wouldn't be asked. Excuse me, and then anybody can create, you can create the stipulations, like your float can't be longer than 100 feet or what, you know what I'm saying? And, but that dance groups.
Yeah.
Of all kinds,
Mhm.
and, I'm sorry.
so one thing,
schools, yeah.
one thing last year, and in fact, Lisa, I think you had done some reach out to the Kennedy School and some others, but because we were told, to be
Wow.
really limited last
Mhm.
year.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
sure.
But, the Brockton Public Schools has always participated. You have done this, right, before, Lisa?
I have, yes. But if it's all right, Mary, I'd like to come back to your initial question, like, what are the committees we should establish?
Okay.
And
so-
I love that I love that people are sharing ideas of ways to get there. But I think it's important that in order to initiate, the spreading of asking for volunteers, and I love Ann's idea, like put one person in charge of what I'll call marketing. But I was literally just writing down categories.
Me too. Yeah.
That
I
I
was just,
think-
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so let's hear them. Get those.
And the ones that I just popped in my head literally were marketing, parade participants.
Yeah, that's what I looked at. I thought it
Go
was.
ahead,
parade
finish
participants,
it
yeah.
I'm sorry, say
Sorry.
that one more.
So just in case so marketing, parade participants, food, setup and cleanup. And that's as far as I got when you called on me to answer about floats.
Well, you have public safety on there too. so,
Yes,
yeah.
thank you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Yep.
I put safety and logistics kind of together, which I think is separate still from like the setup, because as Lisa was saying, you need one group to really kind of figure out what the floats are supposed to, the sizing and the communications and all that stuff. And then there's the volunteers.
So
And then,
I'm gonna add one more, public officials, because.
Oh, yeah.
that-
Yeah.
In my mind, I put those under participants, but I totally think that
Yeah.
they do
Yeah,
need
me
a
too.
separate category. I do,
And I-
because I don't want them to get lost in.
Right,
and I put local businesses, to kind of
Yeah.
highlight that,
Yeah.
like it's a
Perfect.
different committee, basically an outreach. And then also I just said side elements, but that's, additional things, like the touch a truck or the Brockton beer, different activities that might be going on at the same time or afterwards. Like they, in the past, when you finish at City Hall, kind of those elements.
right.
And then maybe we were all thinking this, but I don't think it was spoken exactly, but I do believe whether it's from this group tonight or up and coming volunteers, I think we do need to put what I'm going to call a chairperson for each one of these categories,
Mhm.
so that it does take the burden off whoever's going to carry the overarching role of parade chairperson. Again, I'm just winging this
Yep.
here, but then when we start to get additional volunteers along the way, we can add them to the committees, because people love to help. They just don't know what to do. So if we designate one chairperson for each committee, then they report back what's happening.
And I
This
think
is-
at some of these committees too, it's like you kind of have, those can then be broken down as well. So like parade participants can be, hopefully we get a lot of people who are willing to help with that. And it's, some people are focused on getting bands. Some people are getting the dance group. Some people are reaching out to the schools. Because I think there's a lot of different, areas that you can go. And so it's just, but you don't really need fully separate, because you're all kind of accomplishing the same thing.
Right. What does everybody else think about those? I'm gonna run through them one more time. Marketing, parade participants, food, setup, cleanup, public safety, logistics, public officials, local businesses, and other, which is kind of the vendors, if we're gonna go down that route. Do you think do we have everything?
Mary, did you put volunteer in there? Because I think that needs its own assistance. and just
So.
getting
so I-
volunteers.
Down on my notes, and the way that I think we were thinking about is there's this, we want to let volunteers volunteer to what they want to do, but we
Sure.
also know that there's some things that we need to shift people to.
Mhm.
And so where's Linda? Linda, you've been a volunteer, maybe from your perspective, your thoughts, if you can unmute yourself and maybe weigh in on that.
Good evening. So I agree with what everyone is saying. Definitely from last year, setting up and breaking down, I think are going to be really critical, especially the breakdown. I feel like everybody kind of disappears when the party's over. And it's just a handful of folks kind of, putting things together. So really solidifying who's going to be there for that day. And also the parade route. I think last year we had a pretty good handle on the parade route as far as the different volunteers kind of walking through the groups, letting the groups know where they should be, where they should line up, what time they should start walking. The people with the walkie-talkies being able to communicate with each other. And when, if we're stopping a quarter mile ahead or whatever, 100 yards ahead, that, everybody should know that they're going to be stopping later on down the road. Or if there's an issue, just communicating that throughout the thing. I agree with everything everybody else said with having separate public officials and committee. And with that, I would also include not just the city officials as far as city hall, but if you're if we're going to have the school, inviting the superintendent and the new deputy superintendents, or even inviting the school district and saying, hey, what teachers want to come in, what paras want to come in, do you all want to walk, represent your school? Almost every single person I know that works in the school system has a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, or something from what school they're in.
Good idea.
So they all could kind of walk. I mean, clearly we're not going to get 1,000 teachers to walk, but if we got 50 or 100 from different schools, how great would that be? And so I think that would be really great. And just really marketing this, getting the word out early, letting especially DBA members past and present. And also, are we going to be doing any kind of booklet or anything recognizing, are we doing, is there going to be any funding sources? So things like that.
All good. This is all great. And so a couple of things, so public officials, it's always the state legislators, it's congressional delegation, it is school,
County.
it's county, it's, so, and then as it relates to the Brockton Public Schools, I do feel like that requires a one-person contact. We don't want 5 people to be contacted, but they're a special entity because it is dealing with the schools. So
Oh, yeah.
always through the superintendent's office. And, again, last year we did not have any schools participating because it was really just supposed to be only public safety. And so I know for a fact that the schools would like to usually get a float.
Mhm.
I think the idea is the more young people that are involved, the more
Yeah.
parents and grandparents come out.
Yeah,
So,
very good.
and
Yeah.
remember last year, we had a shortened route. By the time it was done early. It was done too early because then Matt Cunningham and the choral group really sang in front of like an empty crowd. There was a
Poor
small.
things, and they were freezing too.
Well, they
Yeah.
were. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
that piece is important.
Sure.
So, Mark, I know you just shut your video off, but the parade route, and do you have any concerns, like so the parade route has always been right in front of, now it's the courthouse to the side of Belmont and Maine, I think cut out going up Legion Parkway last year. In fact, we did.
Right.
So I would say that if we get more participants going up Legion Parkway would be ideal. And then coming back down. But again, we had some electrical work going on last year. We had to make sure that was cleared out of the way. There was height of Frosty and some other things that we had going on. Anything that you would have concerns about that?
No, not really. Nothing comes to mind.
Just enough so we can give you enough notice for planning, so
Right.
that kind of circles us back to Anne in terms of like, if we're going to do a save the date, I think that's the first most important thing. to
Well,
save
I
the
mean, I
date.
thought we put save the date, bullet, join us, volunteer,
Right,
or march, whatever, I don't know, bullet, yeah, sell your wares, I don't know, just throwing that out, and call, blah, 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 or email, blah, blah, blah.
yep.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Yeah.
before I cut anybody else out, does anybody else have anything to add on this?
Yeah,
Counselor?
Mary, really quickly,
Oh,
you were
yep.
talking about the food trucks. Now, one of the issues, what I think that the people that I know that have food trucks is Brockton charges a daily rate for food trucks.
Yep.
Now, is that something that's going to be waived for something like this?
I did not know in advance last year. The mayor and I chatted the day of the holiday parade and said, I wish I knew, because you have to pay I think it's $120.
Yeah, it's 125, yeah.
125, yep.
And
Yeah.
so that's already, the vendor is already that much in the hole. So
Yeah.
that is one thing that I will be approaching and asking the mayor if there's a way to waive that.
Yeah, license commission.
So again, so these are items, but what I would like to do is, maybe I'm hearing, again, looking for volunteers to take up.
Well,
We don't have all of our volunteers
Sure.
here, but, look for,
Well, I told you, I'll do that, start sending out the save the date to get the start getting the participants. For example, I already have somebody that's interested in School on Wheels.
Yep.
Okay, and cultural affairs and tourism, and who's the other group? Oh, a young woman from the Brockton Library, she's going to be involved with doing a float.
great.
Her name
So,
is Myra. Yeah,
so
okay.
Ann Beauregard will serve as lead. We will I want the postcard to be created through us. So
Oh,
it's-
that's fine. I mean,
And then once
yeah.
we get the postcards, we'll get them sent and delivered and.
Yeah, I wanted to address it
Yep,
and post them
yep.
out and follow up, because if, like we get some kind of weird thing where it's returned or what have you,
Right, that's into getting to the deep dive of things, but I think
Yeah.
if we have, I will put together a list with everybody who's gonna chair a particular committee, and that way, having a single point of contact. Megan and I chatted a little bit about, there is a software called Monday, which is you assign task and you're able to so even though I'm not on the committee, like, I'll know what you're doing, you fill it in. and
Oh,
people
yeah,
will
yeah,
know.
oh,
So,
that's fine, yeah, not trying to keep it to our
Counselor
secret. Yeah.
Thompson, you were gonna say something?
Yeah, so I was gonna obviously volunteer for the Public Officials Subcommittee. I think I invite from federal down to local, invite them all.
Great.
And also
Good idea, yeah.
the school committee as well.
Thank you.
Regarding food trucks, so we just passed a food truck ordinance just recently.
Yes,
I don't remember all the details to it, but I do know there's a hawker's fee that was attached, and then an inspection fee. So
yeah,
Well, that's a
I can
gift,
definitely
yeah.
talk with some of the city councilors, about what we could do to lessen that fee if possible. And I don't know if this is a silly question or not, but I know this is our holiday parade, Christmas parade, but would there be an overall theme to the parade? Is it the number, I don't know, 100 and something of the
Well,
departments?
I can,
so it's a good question. So Jill Wiley had sent me a whole listing
Nice.
of ideas. She was not able to make it today.
Yeah.
I will not make it the decision. I think this is a committee decision, and so we should maybe even do a contest,
that's a cute idea,
you
yeah.
know, I want to be careful. This is holiday and respectful of all the different kind of celebrations. John Marion made a point, he and I had a little bit of a good discussion about, because the first department Santa store and, the whole theme of Christmas Town. So I winced, because does that mean it's excluded? But he said, if you take it with the history of the
Yeah.
city of Brockton, like taking that theme. So I don't know what number parade this is, but I'll find out. And perhaps we can this would be part of, I think, the marketing committee, putting together an idea about what to call the theme and kind of how to get it out there.
We've had some good ones in the past. Remember the space one we had?
There have been,
We had,
there's
yeah,
lots of them, but
The,
moving
oh,
forward
yeah.
is that we need to be able to be inclusive of what we're gonna call it. I think that part's important.
International holidays was one.
What about holidays around the world?
Yeah, that's what it was one time. And what was the other one that was fun? Oh, the Victorian
So-
theme, Christmas or
So
something like that. Yeah.
Megan, and
Yeah.
Megan's gonna shoot me, but we're gonna put together a survey with a bunch of names and
That's a
people
good
are
idea,
gonna vote. It should not be just those of us who are showing up to this first meeting. It really should be those that have been volunteering in the
Blasted, yeah,
and get it
blasted,
out
yeah,
there.
Yeah, yeah. Good,
Um,
good.
Mary, my husband's gonna kill me, but I can step up as the head of communications if
He
you
is
would
going
like.
to shoot you. He's not gonna just kill you. He's gonna,
Yeah.
so I would say is this, I would only allow that to happen, Megan, if you get a co-person to run that marketing with
Yeah.
you.
Sounds good.
So marketing, parade, participant, who's gonna take on food? We don't have to have an answer today, but, did I lose Amanda and Cindy by any chance?
They're on.
Nope, we're here.
Okay, I'm gonna let you guys unmute yourself and let me know what your thoughts and ideas and discussion.
We'll do whatever you need, Mary.
Okay. So
Yeah,
Amanda,
You tell us where you
This
want
is
to sit.
recorded.
Can I get somebody who volunteers for me like that?
Amanda, if I heard that you are all over this, I would love your help in kind of really being and working really with me and taking a little bit off of my plate. So that would be awesome. So
I can help with any sort of like marketing materials or flyering to, or any like social media posts and like pre-curating things. I can do that for you.
Awesome. Sold. Man, keep it going, everybody. So Amanda, what I would probably recommend is maybe you and I and Megan and anybody else, but let's do a side meeting about marketing and what to do. I always want to make sure the public officials are involved with that as well. Because again, I'm always grateful for the contributions that we get from the city to do this. I just thought of another, it could fall under marketing, but sponsorship is another category. We always try to supplement.
Well, I thought that fell under, I always thought that fell under participants too.
No, sponsorships is different.
Funding and
No,
sponsorship.
I know, it's sponsorship.
Oh,
Okay, but I
because
meant,
it's not only, I get what your point is. So
Yeah,
there's
okay,
sponsorship
okay.
of certain maybe floats, but it's also,
no, for
some events.
funding. Yeah, in other
Money.
words, they'd say, okay, it's gonna cost $500, I'm just throwing this out there, $500 for this particular
Yeah.
entertainer to come
Yeah.
for the kids.
Yeah.
Fine, the such and such corporation will do that. That's their way of
So,
participating.
let me
That's-
put sponsorship just on the side for now,
Go right ahead,
but
yeah.
let's intertwine it as we go.
Yeah.
Local businesses, is there anybody who would like to work with local businesses? And if not, that will be one of the questions Megan will put out. We'll do twofold. We'll talk about suggestions for themes, Megan, and then we'll also list the committees and see where people want to participate.
Mary,
And-
if you don't mind, I just wanted to throw an idea out to the group. So I love that we're all here tonight, but and you even referenced it, that not everybody could come tonight. So I just wanted to share with the group, and maybe some of you have used this tool, but I recently got introduced and we use it for many things. It's called Sign Up Genius. It's completely free. And it's a tool that you can identify, I'm going to call them categories or subcommittees, and that you can have people sign up for those committees. So you can actually push out through the social media and marketing group what committees we're looking for people to sign up for. So not just, yes, we can do it through the Google form or whatever. I'm just offering that up as another option to allow people to, because what you do is you say you want 6 people for this committee. So Sign Up Genius, I just wanted to throw it out there to the group. It's completely free. And then I also just wanted to share super fast. And again, I can lead any committee you wish. I'm not so specific, but I did have the privilege, and I promise I'll keep this quick. I did have the privilege to attend the Bristol, Rhode Island 4th of July parade this year. So in preparation of tonight's meeting, I did email them and ask them if they could provide us, again, I know Brockton's done this for so many years, but there were so many bands and so many music entities that, again, I know maybe in the years past we had them, but I did just ask them if they could share their list of participants with us so that we didn't have to start from scratch. So I just wanted to put that out to the group.
That's much appreciated, Lisa. And I think, the Plymouth Parade and the Quincy Parade, these are like big, right? They're big. They've got Channel 5 that's sponsored them, what have you. But I think these are all the things that are important. And if there's tools, whether it's software tools and easy tools, right? I don't know if you had heard earlier, there was Peggy had suggested to me Monday, which is a tour, a software that people log into, they say, here's the chair, and then here's all the different tasks. So whatever it is, we need to do that soon. And, perhaps maybe Lisa and Megan, we can chat a little bit when we talk work stuff tomorrow. But this is how I think it needs to work in terms of getting folks here. Anybody that says, yes, they want in, we find something for them to do.
Yep.
And then, there's some logistics, things like the fire department I need to talk with in terms of the do's and don'ts. Brockton Fire Department, I need to get the parking authority. Last year, Mayor Sullivan was generous enough where he held a department meeting and we were able to go before the department meeting for about 10 minutes just to get everybody saying we're doing this. When we walked out, I think everybody was kind of thrilled to know that it was happening. So again, Mark Picaro and the police department and Brockton Emergency Management, they're all on the same page anyway about things. That's probably the least, although Mark, the one thing, my one little thing is shutting down, when we shut down Main Street, just before White Ave, we had those signs that the wind kept knocking down and cars kept coming through, and here I am, I'm like, no, you can't come, and I'm like 5'0" and I'm telling people like, no, and I did get the middle finger a few times, but I did not return it. But, I would say there's a little, you knew about that, there was little tweaks, and I know that it was trying to get enough staffing power to kind of keep that in check, so.
Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. We'll certainly beef up that location.
Great, thank you. And part of the parade participant is also working with the selecting a parade marshal. That was done usually in conjunction with the mayor's office and assisting, because their office is always, doing some sort of citations and things like that. Last year it was the young Kennedy School student who had saved, right? It was
so nice.
It was so nice, right? So, we'll be looking for some suggestions about that. That's not an immediate need, but, we want to be ready for when school starts to have people start thinking about parade marshals. And I would say, and whether he looks at this video or not, last year, I really did want to provide an impact award. John Marion usually did the Edgar Award, and I think he still wants to do that in a separate format. But I really want to be able to give an impact award. John Marion has done this for over 30 years.
Yeah.
Over 30 years. All it took was for me to do it 1 year and I'm ready to go. See ya. And for those who know me, I don't usually kind of do that, but I really would like to make sure there is something. He's not an award guy, but I call it an impact award because it really has provided an impact.
Nice. Yeah.
So
as far as the Edgar ones, that's something else you can put on that postcard too. Nominations, suggestions,
So the one thing I'm going to
Yeah.
say is we're going to leave that marketing committee to work with you, because if you put too much stuff on something, they're not going to see it.
No. But I mean, if you have it about this big and, bullet, Amelie,
Right.
bullet slash, yeah.
So Anne will work with the marketing group.
Okay.
So that kind of is our meeting today.
Okay.
I mean, the
Oh.
food, the vendors. I mean, I don't know if folks really wanted to, again, if we're gonna, it's not part of the parade participant. I think the parade is a parade.
Yeah.
And other things, I thought having 2 different courts were very confusing for
Yeah, I think
people.
we just have one.
I think it is only one. I think it needs to be limited. Santa had responded saying that they was maybe joining today, but I don't see him on. But John knows the date, knows that it's happening, and he's
Good.
confirmed.
Yeah, I mean, I could help you with that. That's what I do more or less.
So Nancy, let's see, I'm just trying to think of what.
You've got a few chairs already. You're doing
I
well.
know.
Vendors row and music entertainment.
Yeah, vendors. Okay, Nancy.
Yeah, and music entertainment. more or less.
Right, I'd call vendors,
Same thing.
but it,
Ah,
but it
yeah, I
had-
get what you were
but
saying, yeah.
again,
Yeah.
if you think of what Nikki was able to really educate me is that, what time do you start? And if you do it in intervals, you've
Yeah.
got to have time for shifting off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know this is your thing, but it would be really important that, I would say for anybody who saw them certainly is Rose Conservatory.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh,
They
they're
were-
That's no
incredible.
problem.
Yeah.
I know, Greg.
So a number of these vendors were in fact paid. So
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, well, you and I will talk about that.
yep, we can do that. The other thing is,
Yeah.
the Clydesdale cost us 6,000, 7,000.
Didn't somebody pay for that?
They did. It's by TL Edwards, but TL Edwards gave what they had given in the past. And so they sponsored most of it, like
Okay.
90% of it. But the other piece did come out of some other funding that we
Sure.
raised.
Yeah.
And I'll go back to the same sponsors that we had.
Uh-huh.
So it does
Yeah.
supplement, but I think it would be healthy, at least for this planning group, that you know what the budget is.
Yes.
So while the 10,000 is great from the city, but it's much
So
more than
fresh.
that.
Yeah, oh, no, agree with you.
But it is
completely.
also for everybody to know, so this is truly the private-public partnership. It truly is, the city does pick up the cost for the overtime for the PD and for others. And that's a gift that we have to acknowledge, because if you are, I was watching the License Commission last night. But watching, right, if you're going to be putting something on, you need to be, not only
Yeah.
tip certified, but you need to have a
Yeah.
police officer for anybody over X amount.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a lot. And so while we are not in that, this is a much more public event.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that we are always being cognizant of the private
Sure.
public partnership.
Okay, no, that's good. I mean, if you're winding this down, I want
I
to,
am.
do a sidebar. I want to say
Well,
to
Okay.
you.
I have to go because I have another meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, all right, yes. all
Appreciate
right.
it. Thank
So I'm
you.
glad you
All right.
came. We'll be
Yeah.
talking, yeah. And thank you. And I get to, yeah.
So, anything else, just if anybody, I know Marcus, I would somehow love to have, Boys and Girls Club, along with the Old Colony YMCA, the young people, and doing something. So thank you for joining us tonight. And is the freight movable?
No,
God,
unfortunately,
no.
that's not.
Oh, no, no, no.
That's okay.
Yeah,
That's-
it's too big. It's too big, but we were.
Hang on one second for me. Test. We were losing you. Okay, repeat again.
Oh, so yeah, so no, it's not movable, but
Dan,
we
hold
were
on.
more than happy to have some of the kids participate and our staff, and then I'll join whatever committee you guys need support on.
Perfect. Thank you, Marcus.
course.
Ann's going to be in touch with you, and thank you for putting your contact in the chat. Appreciate that. And anyone else, Counselor Thompson, again, thank you for being on. We'll, once we get the save the date, I think perhaps maybe, Jeff, we can identify a council meeting in August, and let's get before the council meeting with Santa hats for all the counselors, and do a save the date, and get the committee to be there to say it really is a village, to bring it all together. So maybe we can identify that.
Good idea.
Just again, I'm not going to tell the marketing committee what to do, but I'm telling the marketing committee what to do. In the chat, let's see, I'm trying to see a couple of things that folks have said. Okay, Linda, thank you. Got to hop off. And then Lisa, recurring meetings. Yeah. So one of the logistic piece is, and Amanda, this is what we will talk about, is let's set up recurring meetings. So we're not guessing when the next meeting is going to be, and people can know when the meetings are held and we'll do it by way of Zoom here from Old Colony Planning Council. Is there a cost for companies, business to participate?
Yeah,
Linda,
that's what it is.
yep. So we did not charge any of the vendors to
We did
participate.
not.
We did not.
Okay.
If they're selling, like there are certain regulations, like if they're selling food, it has to be food that's made in the kitchen. There's all the Board of Health. There's-
Oh, yeah,
so there's
yeah,
a-
but
there's
they
a lot of-
already know that.
So,
part, yeah.
no, they don't know that.
No, they
There,
don't.
people don't, I'm telling you, this is a piece,
Really? Oh, yeah.
this is a piece that a lot of people just need to kind of understand that there's a lot of different things and regulations. So we need to be very clear about what we're going to be doing. So, all right, so Amanda, you and Megan, I will connect both of you. And I know Cindy, thank you for always being supportive. Lisa, your ideas and straightening, clearing the path of identifying all of those. And then Mark Picaro, Captain, thank you. And inside here, Nancy and Ann. So I want to do a little bit of a public relations. Nancy has an event with Bill Hogan coming up, not this weekend, but next weekend.
Next Saturday, August 6th, we're going to be over at the Salisbury Park by the Cosgrove Pool, the East Side Pool. And we're putting together a small festival. There's going to be some history about Brockton, North Bridgewater in one area. We're going to have some vendors. We're going to have some nonprofits. We're going to have Art, Arnie Danielson. He's going to be painting, and with another woman from his gallery, Enso Gallery. They're going to be painting the park, pictures of the park, not the park, the pictures of the park. We're going to have music. We have 3 performers coming, a soloist, a duet, and a full band. And we've got a DJ, Edison All Rhymes is coming to help us with DJing. And there's going to be children's activities. I have face painting, and I have balloonist, and we've got games and a couple.
So after that event, I'm gonna be like Kellen and Megan's shoulder with the baby right over there and like exhausted from all the things. So thank you, Nancy. So it's not this weekend, it's the following weekend, and
Saturday, August 6th. Yes.
so this weekend, my little baby is gonna be 28 years old. The following weekend, I'm writing my PMC ride.
Yeah, I was gonna
and
ask you about
so,
that. Yeah, okay.
So
very
we'll be
good.
seeing everybody soon, but
Yeah.
let's get these dates, good suggestions, but let's get them institutionalized on our schedule. Cap Picaro, I would just say, we'll keep you involved on the dates. And then as we've done last time, as we get closer, let's do a triage with the whole BEMA and walk through about what's needed. So
Sure.
appreciate everybody. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a good night. And I know you guys are staying here. So
Yeah, yeah. We just wanted to say.
thank you.
Thank you all.
Have a good night.